Great morning, great morning, great morning. Hey, you guys, good morning. Come on in and let's talk about the Word of God. I am super excited about today's message. Come on in, come on in. Come on in. Let me know who's here and where you are tuning in from. Let me know who's here and where you're tuning in from. Who's in the house? Who's here and where are you tuning in from? Oh, this word, y'all. This word blessed my soul. It blessed my soul, my soul, my soul. Come on in, come on in. All right, all right. So, you guys, listen, it is yet another day that the amazing Lord, our Daddy, our God has created. And I'm excited to be able to celebrate this day with you. Good morning, Stacy. How are you? Beautiful. Hey, Nashville in the house. Who is that from Nashville? Come on through. Come on through. Y'all, listen. Now, this is what I'm going to tell y'all. Okay, this is what I'm going to tell y'all. What God is doing in this season of our lives. Like when I tell you that what I keep hearing is eye has not seen nor ear heard, nor has it entered into the hearts of men, the things that God has prepared for us. And I'm excited about that not because of material things, but because it gives God the opportunity to show himself. Hey, Martin. Hey, gorgeous. How are you? Good to see you, boo. Y'all listen. He's getting ready to show his hand. He's getting ready to show his hand strong and mighty. And so this morning, we're going to go to the book of Psalms. We're going to go to the book of Psalms. If you haven't listened to the prophetic word for the month of November, please go back and check that out. One of the things I talk about is it's a month of Thanksgiving, and our Thanksgiving is going to be so key to unlocking what God is doing in our lives. Good morning, Jackie. How are you, gorgeous? Yes. So listen, we're going to get into the word. But before we get into the word, share this word with somebody. Share this word with somebody so that they can be blessed. I'm telling you, this word is going to be a blessing to the people of God today, right? If you've been struggling, if you've been about to faint, if you've been about to give up, or if you know someone who has, this word is going to be an on-time rhema word that is going to bless you and give you the strength you need in order to move forward, in order to keep going, all of those things. So share this word. Now listen, let's go. All right. So we're going to go to the book of Psalms. Let me go ahead and share that. And I should have set that up before. Hold on. Share. Now, one of the things that I love about the Psalms, the book of Psalms, is it's the book of Psalm, but it's a book of Psalms. Psalms are Thanksgiving. So hold on. Hold on. 1 second. All right. All right. And of course, we're going to read from the New Living Translation. We're going to read from the New Living Translation. Let me make sure y'all got a good view. Hold on. All right, here we go. Psalm 30, starting with verse 1. I will exalt you, Lord, for you rescued me. You refused to let my enemies triumph over me. O Lord, my God, I cried to you for help, and you restored my health. You brought me up from the grave, O Lord. You kept me from falling into the pit of death. Sing to the Lord, all you godly ones. Praise his holy name. His anger lasts only a moment, but his favor lasts a lifetime. Weeping may last what? Through the night, but joy comes in the morning. When I was prosperous, I said, nothing can stop me now. Mm, 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 mm. Heh. Your favor, O Lord, made me as secure as a mountain. Then you turned away from me and I was shattered. Y'all pause, because listen, y'all can't see that part. Let me get to that for y'all. I cried out to you, O Lord. Y'all, I want y'all to catch this now. I cried out to you, O Lord, and I begged the Lord for mercy, saying, what will you gain if I die, if I sink into the grave? Can my dust praise you? Can it tell of your faithfulness? Hear me, Lord, and have mercy on me. Help me, O Lord. You have turned my mourning into joyful dancing. You have taken away my clothes of mourning and clothed me with joy, that I might sing praises to you and not be silent. O Lord, my God, I give you thanks forever. Now, listen. Weeping may last through the night or endure for a night, but joy comes with the more. Y'all, so let me share this with you. Let me share this with you. Let me flip back over. This was not where I was going to be. I was supposed to be in Psalms 33. But clearly, I was supposed to be in Psalms 30. Because for whatever reason, that's where he has me. Now, I want you to think about it. That title was designed to go with Psalm 33. But I ended up putting in Psalm 30. So when I just read that, I said, well, wait, this is not what I read earlier. This is not what I had planned to talk about, right? This is, God, you did a switcheroo? What? If I had just gone there, you guys would have probably thought, oh yeah, that's because, she lost her dad. But listen, can I tell you, my daddy wanted to give me a special message. And I believe your daddy wanted to give you a special message. When you think about all that you've gone through and where you are in your life, and I don't know what you're going through, but I know this word really is a rhema word for me. I've been crying out to God because, there are times in your life when you go through things and you have to cry out to God because, listen, it's like nobody else can help you. And so as I read it, I was like, wow, okay, God, listen to what he says. Because what he's saying, what David is saying, and this is David now. This is David. Now, y'all know David. David has gone through a lot now. He's gone through a lot. And at this point, he is dedicating the temple. He says, I will exalt you, Lord, for you rescued me. You refused to let my enemies triumph over me. Can any of you relate to that? Can you relate to, crying to God for help and he restored your help? Can you relate to you were about dead, like you were almost in the grave and he kept you from falling into the pit of death, whether it was from sickness or at the hands of someone else or at your own hand. But you were at the point where death was looming before you and you easily could have found yourself in the grave, but God kept you from falling into the pit of death, the pit of the grave. He kept you from dying. He gave you a continued life right? And so he goes on and he says, sing to the Lord, all you godly ones. Praise his holy name, for his anger lasts only a moment. Anybody ever been on the receiving end of God's anger? Like you did something that you know he told you not to do. You went a place you know he told you not to go. You were in something that you know he told you not to be in, but you were in it anyway. And then he said, listen, okay, you want to be disobedient. You want to do what you want to do. Okay, I'm getting ready to let you experience the wrath. Now, listen, people who say that God is a God of love, they are absolutely correct. You know, I strongly believe that that is who he is. But listen, he is also not a God to be played with. And so you may find yourself on the receiving end of the wrath of God because you made a decision outside of the will of God when he clearly told you not to do it. You intentionally stepped outside of the ark of safety. You intentionally stepped outside of his will. You intentionally did that thing. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a slip and fall. It was something that you did with intention. And with the same intention that you stepped outside of this ark of safety, with the same intention that you stepped outside of his will, he will intentionally allow his wrath to hit you. Everything you go through ain't from the enemy. Okay? So listen, even when you find yourself in that place, even if you stepped outside of the ark of safety, if you intentionally did something that allowed God's wrath to come upon you, his anger lasts only a moment. My God. Even if it was your fault, it only lasts a moment. That's it. His anger only lasts. He's not like us. He's not like us. Y'all know our anger lasts forever. Like I'm mad at you and I'm going to be mad at you and I'm going to stay mad at you. You know, and it's interesting because we can often become petty in our anger, petty in our wrath. And listen, I'm not saying that you never have a right to be angry. There are definitely situations that warrant your anger. You feel angry. I get your anger. I get it that you feel angry. But baby, can I share something with you? Can I just help you for just a moment? Like when you hold on to that anger, it sets up a root of bitterness inside of you that begins to taint what you do, begins to taint how you show up. It begins to taint. There is a taint, a tinge, right? And you find yourself wondering, why is this a little bit off? Well, could it be that your petty is showing up? Could it be that your anger is continuing to leak? Could that be it? God is not like that. Listen, yes, he allows you to experience his wrath. He absolutely does, unapologetically, without any qualms. Bam, the wrath of God is upon you. But baby, even when you have experienced his wrath only lasts for a moment. But his favor, my God, his favor lasts a lifetime. Anybody understand what that means? That even when you are experiencing his wrath, even when he's angry with you, when his anger is done, his favor is still in existence for your life. You didn't disqualify yourself from his favor. His favor is still there. It lasts a lifetime, you know, and it's still going and going and going. Now, why is that so powerful? Because when you find yourself in those places where you don't know what's going to happen and you don't know what's going on and you don't know what the end is going to be and you don't know how you're going to get through, when you don't know those things, his favor is still working for you. And so you can stand confidently and know this: oh, God's favor will rescue me. God's favor will show up in my life. I was reading an email from Tiffany Montgomery. Tiffany Montgomery, she is a mighty prophet, a young woman who believes God, just believes God and listens to his voice and does whatever he says, right? And so I remember encountering Tiffany. We both started on Periscope about the same time. And I remember listening to her broadcast, her listening to mine. And I remember I got off TikTok and she kept going, right? And I was reading this email and it said, "You are approved." And it was so funny because just had a conversation with somebody about something God is getting ready to do for me, right? And I just believe him for like, this is going to work for my good. Like, it doesn't matter what happens, it's going to work for my good. And so I was reading her email, and it took me back to a conversation that I had with somebody. So in the email, she talks about she'd been asked to speak by Bloomberg. Bloomberg had invited her to come speak on entrepreneurship. And it was out of the country, and she didn't have a passport, but she told him, yeah, I got a passport, but she figured she'd have one, right? The event was like 3 weeks out. They purchased her plane ticket. She rented a car. She did everything to go to the event. I want y'all to listen to this. And she still didn't have a passport. And she got to DC early in the morning, first thing in the morning, went into the passport office, said, you know, I need to get a passport for a trip that I have today, right? And she talked about how when you act like you're entitled to ask for what you ask for, even though other people say, oh, that's not possible, then people generally respond to that. When you act like it's the norm for you to get what it is that you're, you know, declaring, then people generally respond to that. Listen to me, y'all. I want y'all to hear me. And God began to speak to me. And this is what he said. Remember when you used to be like that? Remember when you used to move like that? Remember when you had that level of audaciousness? I mean, you were just audacious. You would just go in and you just say whatever, right? You know, you walk into a place and say, yes, I want to rent this building. You know, it's 3,000 square feet. What's your budget? God's my budget. God said, this is my space. You'd go to a house and you'd say, they say, oh, you know, God told me this is my house. God said that. Listen, let me tell y'all something. We can allow other people's doubt to cause us to step out of our rightful place in God, because we serve an unlimited God and we'll allow people to limit us. We serve an unlimited God and we will allow people to limit us. We will allow people and their thoughts and their fears and their disappointments and their concerns to cause us to be like, well, maybe I shouldn't. Well, maybe maybe I can't. Well, what did God say? What did God say? See, when I look at this text, it reminds me of the right that I have to stand on what God has told me. His favor lasts a lifetime. It doesn't stop because of death. It doesn't stop like you have a death in your family. It doesn't stop because you encounter financial challenges. It doesn't stop because you lose your job. It doesn't stop because you got sick. It doesn't stop. No. God's favor lasts a lifetime. And this is the thing. David here is saying, hey, listen, weeping may last through the night. David knew something about weeping. Remember, this is the same David, listen to me, the same David who looked upon Bathsheba and lusted after her and said, bring her to me. They said, well, that's so-and-so's wife, your most trusted general's wife. I said, bring her to me. She fine. Oh, she's getting ready to be mine. And they brought her and he slept with her, sent her husband to the front line so that he might die after he got the man's wife pregnant. So he committed adultery, murder, and God's wrath fell upon him because that child had to die. That was God's wrath. But after the child died, come on, David was weeping before the child died. He was weeping before the child transitioned. He was weeping before, begging God, please spare him. Spare him, God, please spare him. He was weeping. But after the child died, my God, somebody, after the child died, he got up, he washed his face. He took off his clothes of mourning, put on his clothes, he ate. So when he was sick, he was weeping, he was mourning. But when he died, he washed his face, he ate, he got up. Because joy comes in the morning. We do it backwards. We do it backwards. We weep after death. And we weep 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 and we weep. And I'm not saying not to grieve. Hear me, I'm there, right? I'm not saying not to grieve. But when will your joy come? I'd like to contend that the joy is waiting on you to grab it. It's not that the joy is not there, it's that you haven't grabbed it. You see, sometimes when we don't understand mourning, death, loss, grief, joy, when we don't understand mourning, MOURNING, and MOR. Oh my God. Y'all, listen. You may be mourning, MOURNING, but when you get out of the way, it'll be your mourning, MORNING. My God. When you take the focus off of you in your mourning, MOURNING, it will become your mourning, MORNING. The key is you have to get out of the way. When you take the U out of your MOURNING, you will have your MORNING. Y'all, listen. Maybe y'all didn't catch that. But listen, that just blessed me because of something God has been telling me. Okay. David understood. Now, you want to talk about somebody that understood the assignment. David understood. He had to go through some stuff to understand it, but he understood. He always had the right heart, even if his actions didn't line up. His heart was right. He wanted to please God, even if sometimes his body got in the way. His mind got in the way. His spirit had a desire to serve God. But baby, that thing right there just blessed me. When you get out of the way in your MOURNING, your mourning, it will be your MORNING. So what is keeping you from your joy? You. What is keeping you from your victory? You. What is keeping you from your breakthrough? You. You are keeping you from getting to what God has for you. Why? You want to be in mourning instead of in the morning. You want to be in mourning instead of in the morning. I'm not saying don't mourn. Hear me clearly. I'm not saying don't mourn. I'm not saying that. But when your purpose, when your sole thought throughout the day is what you've lost and who you've lost, you will always be in a place of mourning, MOURNING, because the focus is on you. But when you take the focus off of you, you will find your joy. Your mourning, your MORNING will come. The mourning is right there. It's waiting on you. The joy is there. The victory is there. The favor is there. It is all there. It's there. You're not. It's there. You're not. My God. My God. But check this out. David said, when I was prosperous, I said, nothing can stop me. Shababa. That wasn't a tongue. That wasn't a tongue. Okay. That wasn't a tongue. Let me clarify that, because people like, I just keep saying shababa. Listen, that means revelation. That means revelation, right? So when I was prosperous, I said nothing can stop me. Now, when we got money, when we got the job, when everything is going right, we say, oh, nothing can stop me now, right? Your favor, O Lord, made me as secure as a mountain. See, because we think that it's when we're prosperous that God's favor is showing up, and that's the only time. Then David says, then you turned away from me and I was shattered. When we find ourselves in the valley, when we find ourselves in the pit, when we find ourselves in the prison, then we feel like God has walked away from us. The truth of the matter is God did not walk away. He didn't walk away. Our security is not just when we're prosperous. That's not where our security comes from. It doesn't just come in our prosperity. Our security is in the fact that the favor of the Lord lasts a lifetime. It never goes anywhere. Even if you find yourself in the pit, even if you find yourself in prison, even if you find yourself sick, even if you find yourself homeless, even if you find, wherever you find yourself, God's favor has not gone. Now, see, what happens is we feel shattered, like, oh, God left me. Oh, I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh, I just lost my loved one. I don't know what I'm going to do. Y'all, and I'm not mocking it. Believe me, everything that I'm talking about right now, I have literally experienced. I'm not saying this from a place from a lack of experience. So don't look at me and say, Dr. V, you don't know what it's like to be homeless. I do. You don't know what it's like to be sick and feel like you're about to die. I do. Now, what I don't know is what it's like to be in a physical prison, but I do know what it's like to be in the prison of my mind, the prison of victimhood, the prison of helplessness and hopelessness. I know that prison. I know it. I've been there. Listen to me. You may say, Dr. V, you don't know what it feels like to want to give up, to want to quit, to just want to take your life. I do. I've been there. I've tried it, and it did not work. And I said, God, I can't even die right. But baby, can I tell you something? Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something? There's something that happens when you cry out to God. He shows up, he answers. He answers, and it may not be when you want him to answer. It may not be the way you want him to answer. He may not use who you want him to use, and it may not look like you want it to look. But it doesn't mean that he doesn't answer. I'm reminded of a time when Daniel found himself in a place where he wanted to die. He wanted to fall into the grave. He felt like life was not worth. This is the same Daniel that was in the lion's den, but he found himself. He cried out to God, and his knees were weak and feeble, and he didn't think he could make it, and he needed God. He cried out to God. He cried out to God, and it seemed as though God was never coming. It seemed as though there was never going to be an answer. It seemed as though he was always going to be in the place that he was in. Anybody relate to it seeming like you're never going to come out of the place that you're in? It's always going to be something. It seemed like you can't get a break. It seems like every time you go 2 steps forward, you take 3 steps back. Anybody relate to that? Anybody know what that's like? Anybody experience that? Anybody ever found themselves in a place where you found yourself saying, God, why do I even bother? Why should I even care? Why do I even try? I don't even know why I'm doing what I'm doing because nothing works for me. I don't even know why I'm doing what I'm doing because it seems like everybody else wins. It seems like the sinners are prospering. Look at them over there. Oh, they're prospering, but they don't even know you. They don't love you like I do. They don't serve you like I do. I just look at them and I'm like, God, well, if this is happening for them, why am I going through what I'm going through? Why is it that I find myself in a place where I just want to quit? I just want to give up. And it seems like there's no help and there's no hope and no one cares. And there's no concern for me. When, oh God, is it going to be my turn? When, oh God, will my breakthrough come? When will my morning, MORNING, come? God, what is going on and what is wrong with this situation? But because God's love never fails, he always loves us. There are just times when we've got to go through some things. Sometimes it's things of our own making. Sometimes it's things to make us his own. Whatever the case, it doesn't matter. When you find yourself in that place, you cry out to God. This is what David said. I cried out to you, O Lord. I begged the Lord for mercy, saying, what will you gain if I die, if I sink into the grave? Can my dust praise you? Can it tell of your faithfulness? Hear me, Lord, and have mercy on me. Help me, O Lord. And what did God do? You have turned my mourning, mourning, into joyful dancing. You have taken away my clothes of mourning and clothed me with joy, that I might sing praises to you and not be silent. O Lord my God, I will give you thanks forever. I told you guys, if you watched, God is so intentional. God is so intentional. Listen, I told you guys, if you saw the prophetic word for the month of November, that November was a month of Thanksgiving, and that there were a lot of things that were going to break open for us through our Thanksgiving, just through us giving thanks. And I'm not talking about Thanksgiving, the Pilgrims and the Native Americans. I'm not talking about that kind of Thanksgiving, but just thanking God for the entire month of November. Like, it's going to break some things open. It's going to break some things loose. There's some things that God just wants to put in your hands, and your Thanksgiving is the key. You see, David understood that God desires the praises of his people, right? And we are able to do so much when we put ourselves in a place of gratitude. You know, it lets God know that no matter what we're going through, we're grateful to him. We love him. We adore him. And it is that place of gratitude that's going to get you through what you're going through. It's not that, you can't go through anything. Listen to me, y'all. Stop thinking that you shouldn't go through anything. That's the most foolish thing in the world. It is in the going through that we are strengthened, that we are sharpened, that we become more like him, that he's able to pull back the layers on our heart. Like that's real talk, y'all. Sometimes you're gonna go through, period. Like, there are gonna be times when you're gonna go through some things. It's not whether or not things happen, it's what you do when the things happen. It's not whether or not you're gonna go through anything, it's how you're gonna go through it. Like, that's what makes all the difference in the world. Like, you think that it's the people who don't go through anything, but baby, listen, let me tell you something. That's why I can minister with the level of passion and tenacity that I do, because I've gone through and I've gone through it. And so I can talk to you from a place of authenticity, personal experience, knowing what God can do and has done. So, Dr. V, what are you saying? I'm saying this. Start looking at the things that you go through as training ground. This is just training ground for my faith, for my confidence, for my belief, for my audacity, right? This is a place for me to see for myself and to show to the world what it looks like to go through. So I I just have really started getting back to me, and to doing what it is that God has called me to do. I have been in mourning, and it's like the other day, God just picked me up. It's like, hey, get up, wash your face, put some clothes on. Time for you to get back to work and out of the way. And what I discovered was my mourning, mourning. If you want to get to your mourning, that's where the joy is. If you want to get there, you have to get back to work, get back to your assignment, get back to doing what you love, get back to your passion, get back to God. It's when we find ourselves in that place where we're just stuck in our grief, in our grieving, that we're unable to experience joy. And it seems like there's a dark cloud on everything. And I'm not saying that grief is gone or I'm no longer grieving. I'm grieving. I'm not mourning. I'm grieving and I'm going through the grief process, but I'm not mourning. mourning, creating my mourning. So God gave me an assignment, and I know that I have to do this assignment. It's not one I would have picked for myself. And if I had not gone through what I just went through with my dad, I definitely would not have chosen it. Period. But I'm ready. I'm ready. I'm ready for everything that God has for me to do and everything that He has for me. Why? My God is faithful, and His favor lasts a lifetime. So if you're still alive, His favor is still there. You're still breathing, His favor is still there. You're in a tight spot, His favor is still there. Cry out to Him. Cry out to God. Cry out to Him. He wants us to cry out to Him so that He can respond, so that He can show up, so that He can be our rescuer. No, you know what we want? People to rescue us. We're looking for someone else to rescue us so that we can say, oh, they rescued us. They were our knight in shining armor. That's God. He's the knight that's always there in the day or the night. He's the one that rides in and says, hop on, grabs us by the hand, pulls us up, and rides off. That's God. He wants to be that for us. We read so many fairy tales, and we want people to be our answer. People may be used. They are not the answer. God is the answer. Our forever rescuer, our forever protector, our forever healer, our forever lawyer, our attorney. He goes into the courtroom, our doctor. He knows exactly what's wrong with us and what to do to heal us. My God. Listen, all I know is this. There's something that God is doing. And I keep hearing, eyes have not seen, nor ears heard, nor has it entered into the hearts of man the things that God has prepared for those who love Him. So listen, it's time for you. It's time for me to walk in what it is that God has done and what He has given us. I'm telling you, it's going to be amazing, and it's going to blow your mind. So know this. It's done already. Let's walk it out. I want you to meditate on the words of this song. I want you to let it bless you. I want it to encourage you, because this is who we serve. My God. You all let me know that you can hear.
You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. Hey, we make a miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are.
Anybody know him to be a
Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here.
yes, God.
Touching every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are here. Healing every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, turning lives around. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, mending every heart. I worship you. I worship you. Hey, we make it, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Hey, we make it, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You wipe away all tears. You mend the broken heart. You're the answer to it all. Jesus. You wipe away all tears. You mend the broken heart. You're the answer to it all. To it all. Jesus. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are here, touching every life. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, meeting every need. I worship you. I worship you.
Wow, my God. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. God's love never fails. He never leaves us nor forsakes us. It's always there, waiting for us to take the you out of our morning so that we can experience our MORNING, which is where the joy resides. The joy is already there. It's waiting on you to get out of the way, out of your morning and into your purpose, because that's where the joy resides. Listen, I love you guys. I pray that what you've heard today blessed you in some shape, form, or fashion. If you'd like to make a contribution, sow a seed, you absolutely can do that. Cash App, $Passionate Pursuit, PayPal.me/Passionate Pursuit. Know this, God is the way maker, and he's ready to make the way for you. Have an absolutely blessed and prosperous day. I love you guys to life, and life more abundant. Be blessed.